Someone stole my bike, or my bike was stolen. In the first sentence, I'm talking about a thief, a person who steals. Someone stole my bike. In the second sentence, I'm focusing on my poor, now missing bike. My bike was stolen. I don't know who by. That, put simply, is the passive voice. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alice and this is English with Alice B, where you can come to learn English in a clear and simple way without the stress. Today we are going to be taking away the confusion. A lot of students think that the passive voice only needs to be used in formal or academic situations. And that's not entirely true. We use it every single day to change the focus of the story. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to form the passive voice, but most importantly, you will know exactly how to use it as well. Let's talk English. So let's start by forming it. How do we form the passive voice? It's really very simple. You take the verb to be in the past, present, or future form, and you put it with the past participle. That's the verb to be with the past participle. Let me give you some examples. If I want to use the present simple, I might say, the cake is eaten. The cake, the object, is the verb to be, and eaten, the verb to eat in the past participle form. The cake is eaten every day. It happens regularly. If I want to put it into the past, I might say, the cake was eaten. Exactly the same sentence, except this time the verb to be is in the past simple form. We're talking about the past. Yesterday, the cake was eaten. Tonight, the cake will be eaten. To be now in the future simple form. And in the present perfect form, for example, the cake has been eaten. So you need to know your tenses. You need to know how to modify the verb to be depending on, are you talking about the past? Are you talking about the present? Or are you talking about a future action? Notice that the person or the people eating the cake isn't mentioned. It's not important, it's not known, or it's obvious who we're talking about. The person is not the star of the sentence. The cake is the star of the sentence. This is the passive voice. So now let's talk about when to use it exactly. You don't want to use the passive voice all the time. This can become very repetitive and you can sound a little bit like a robot. We use the passive voice for three specific reasons. The doer, so the person doing the action, is unknown. Sometimes when an action happens, we don't know exactly who did it. What we know is that the action happened. So we cannot say, this person stole my bike or he stole my bike. We don't know. What we do know is that the bike was stolen. So the focus is shifted. Reason number two is when the action is more important than the person. Maybe we do know who did the action, but it's not important or it doesn't need to be mentioned. The important thing is that the action happened. For example, the bridge was built in 1890. We are talking about the history of this bridge, okay? We're not interested in the 500 workers who built it. We're talking about the object, the bridge. The bridge was built in 1890. And reason number three, when you want to be a little diplomatic, when you don't want to blame someone. If you're at work and you say, you made a mistake, this can be very direct and it can come across as a bit aggressive. If instead you say, a mistake was made, you're focusing on the problem, on the mistake. You're not attacking the person. So it can be a way to sound a little bit more professional. Now, if you do want to include more information, who did the action, you can put it right on the end of the sentence after the preposition by. For example, the cake was eaten by me. The bike was stolen by the thief. The bridge was built in 1890 by 500 of the residents in the town. You can include who did the action, but the focus is still on the action happening. This is the most important thing. If you wanted to use an active voice, you would put the person or the doer of the action first. For example, if I wanted to use an active voice, I could say, the chef cooked the dinner. The chef, the subject, cooked, the verb to cook, and the dinner, the object, the thing that received the action. The chef cooked the dinner. If instead I want to focus on the object, on the dinner, I could say, the dinner was cooked. Then I can include the chef in the end if I want to, but the focus now is on the dinner. The dinner was cooked by the chef. But remember, if the doer of the action is obvious, if we know it was the chef, then we don't need to say. Before we finish, I'd like to highlight a mistake that I hear often, and that is when my students forget to use the verb to be. The dinner cooked or the bike stolen. This doesn't make a lot of sense. You need to add the verb to be. This helps us understand that this action happened to the bike or to the dinner, to the object. Let's try a little challenge in the comments below. Think of a famous monument. It can be a statue, it can be a bridge, it can be a famous building in your city or in your town. And tell me, when was it built? Why was it built? And who was it built by? Remember to practice using the passive form in all of your examples. Keep an eye out for my next true crime video. Here, I will focus on using the passive voice. You will find that on my channel in the next few days. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I will be making a lot more videos like this. And as always, thank you so much for studying with me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.